So, hello everybody, Richard here at Velo29. Some of you will have seen me before on similar podcasts, but today I'm joined by Chris.
Hi, pleased to meet everyone. So my first podcast as well. So we're really excited about this event, and thanks for coming along to watch.
Yeah, so Chris and I there's a little bit of a backstory, isn't there, Chris? I don't know if you want to tell everybody how we came to be here.
Yes, it's a really nice way we met. So some of you may know Richard runs a raffle bike business as well, and I was lucky enough to win the bike behind 2 years ago. So that was quite an emotional moment. So you sort of read about these things, and I actually got the call from Richard, missed the call, calling back, had a bit of a tear in my eye because nice sort of touch. I sadly lost my mum 2 weeks before, and so winning the bike was just like, it's sort of absolutely icing on the cake. So we sort of just hit it off ever since. Really stayed in touch, talked about few bits and bobs, and and there we are now.
This crazy Everest idea was entirely yours, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, I did a virtual Everest back in April. I absolutely loved it. I mean, I'm a decent-ish cyclist, sort of intermediate club cyclist, Cat B on Zwift. So I'm not a superstar, but I put the work in, did the training, did the event, absolutely loved it, and I really loved the community as well. So there is an official Everesting Facebook group, and people there just could not be helpful enough. People joined on Zwift on the day to help me. And I just thought, I wonder how many people have actually done this all together in real life rather just on Zwift. And everyone's so helpful. So those sort of factors came together. I thought, hey, wonder what the record is. So spoke to Richard, and he thought, yeah, that's a cracking idea. And then we contacted Andy, who is the founder of Health 500 Everesting. And he confirmed it's 54, an event in Norway. So yeah, put it to Richard. Do you fancy doing it? And yeah, Richard is the man who's going to make it happen.
Yeah, and it really is happening, isn't it? Halfway to selling all the entries already.
Yeah, I mean, we're delighted. So yeah, 17th of July, as you know, up in the Peak District. We've only gone live 5 days and sell half the tickets. It's just fantastic.
We weren't sure there was enough crazy people out there, were we? Definitely there is.
Yeah, it's not crazy. It's a focused achievement.
Focused, ambitious, and determined riders. But we've got a very broad section, haven't we, of people who've entered already? So there's people who I know through Velo29 who do a lot of stuff with us, and there's some familiar names there. And then I think there's through the Facebook group that you use, the Cycling Friends UK. I think there's a number of entrants you've recruited from there, isn't there, that you know? But then there's a stack of people that neither of us have ever heard of, which and all of that's great to have diverse people and those stories. So you created the Facebook page specifically for the Everesting challenge, didn't you? And stories are starting to appear on that already about some guys who were looking for the big challenge of the year. A bit of weight loss is in there and that kind of thing. It's some intrigue already.
Yeah, well, the whole point of this is it's a group record event. This is not a race. So we want everybody that enters to get over the line. And that is fundamentally important. So it's about all pulling together. And so, yes, I mentioned I co-moderate a fantastic Facebook group called Cycling Friends UK. But we've also set up a specific page for this event, which Richard will send out invites for anybody who joins the event. Also, if there's anyone wavering,
they want just to join it. Yeah,
we'll
stories there.
But it's about sharing your story, how you're getting on with your training, previous Everesters, how you got on, tips, all that kind of stuff. So it's there. So we all pull together. This really is a team effort on the day. We want everyone across that line.
Well, it's easy to get caught up in your own battle, isn't it? And there's going to be people who've done an Everest before, but there'll be people who haven't. But it's like scoring a goal when your team loses 10-1. It's not, we're not going to be celebrating so much the individual effort. It's entirely helping each other get the number over the line to get the record on the day. Because if we fall short, we're all going to be going home somewhat upset, aren't we? So
right, exactly. all the work everybody individually will have to put in on training. It is a team effort. We didn't mention that there's 100 riders max in our event.
Yeah.
So if we get 100 and it's looking good, we will smash the Norway record. But we don't want anybody dropping out. Everyone across the line, and it's if you're looking to do an Everest, actually having that team environment around you is going to make a massive psychological difference. Doing it by yourself or perhaps with a mate on a hill, yeah, that's great. But having 100 people around you with a professional support crew from Velo29, it is the ideal environment to do it.
I think so. So I guess some people listening won't have entered or even be thinking of entering, but are interested in it. So just on how it works, we pick a hill. You've got to ride up and down the same hill. We're going to use chip timing, but people sometimes just submit Strava data, don't they? It's part of the Hells 500, which is run by Andy, who you mentioned and we've spoken to. And loads of people just go off and do it one day by themselves, don't they? It's because Everesting it really is a thing, and it's become relatively popular over. Is it as much as a decade? Maybe a little bit less.
Yeah, I should look it up. Sorry, Andy. I can't remember. Yeah, but it certainly has become far more popular over lockdown, something to do, and doing it virtually as well. But it's one of those achievements. Yeah, it is really hard. But for not even an exceptional cyclist, with a bit of determination training, yeah, you can do it. And this is a great chance to be part of a record. We have applied to Guinness as well. So if we crack the record, it will be an official Everesting record. Guinness we're pending on, so we hope they accept our application, and that would be really exciting. If we get the Guinness accreditation, then what happens then is you each apply for a participant certificate. So yeah, we'll keep you posted on that, and fingers crossed.
Yeah, it's not the easiest thing to get in the world, a Guinness application, is it? So we're doing our best.
Yeah, we mentioned quietly, we have an existing Guinness record holder helping us. Can't mention any names yet. We may let you on about that, of course. But yeah, so we've got someone really good helping us to put that together.
I do keep having to remind myself, this is a world record attempt. This is a recognised world record. That this will be the most people who've ever come together in a day and done an Everest. It's a big thing, and if we do succeed, those people will be part of a world record attempt. And I know for the guys that I know through Velo29, that's a big deal. That really is a big thing, and for us as well, to have a world record to our name. We like to be diverse, and I never thought of this, but it certainly fits with the model of everything that we try and be different. So it's super cool. Really is.
So, there's no other. Can't really call this a sportive, but there is no other event like this. It is completely unique. It's a one-off at the moment. Who knows whether we'll do it again? Depending on when they come back and beat us.
I do wonder. Yeah, over the years, somebody will try and beat it, won't they? Maybe we'll try and take it back and all that kind of thing. So that's.
But should we talk a bit about the hill? Let's tell people about that. So it's called Peaslows. Do you want to give them some technical data?
Yeah, it's a mile long, isn't it? To make it simple, it's an existing. Yep. So it rises out of Chapel and Frith. Peak District, very close to Winnett's Pass, which anyone who's ridden the Tour of the Peak with us or knows the area will be familiar with. Peaslow is one of the less well-known hills, but certainly it's a good hill for the. I think Andy from Hells 500 called it a Goldilocks climb, didn't he? So
he did, yeah, very Australian.
Yeah, I wasn't 100% sure. I had to think about that, but we wanted somewhere that was logistically achievable. So it's bang in the middle of England, so people can get to it. It's not too far from A1 or M1. There's a town of reasonable size there for accommodation, parking. There's a train station and camping. Yeah. So from that perspective, it's not in the middle of the Shetland Islands or something like that. So it's accessible. The length and the steepness come into it a lot when you're thinking about the hill, because even Andy mentioned that his first ever Everest he did on a very long hill. So you might be descending for 10, 15 minutes, turning around and starting again. It's like the first part of the climb is you've got to warm up. You might get cold from the descent. Your legs have got stiff, and that's really a factor as the day goes on. So we've got a mile up, a mile down. If you do 20 mile an hour coming down, which we think is about where you'll be, it's a 3-minute descent. So it's a respite, but it's not a complete switch off. And we've got a long day at it. So we start at, we think we're going to go for a 5 a.m. start, and we're going to go for a 10 p.m. finish. So you've got that block of 17 hours. can't go beyond that because of daylight. It's going to be a closed road, so obviously locals and things, we've got to take all that into account. So 5 till 7, it gives you 17 hours. It's it's not an overly steep climb. I'll just pop up the 3D elevation, and that shows the steepest bit is it's an average of 9.9%, and I think, is it about 20% at the bottom for the
No, the steep bit is 14, I think 14.5% steepest bit. There's a short section at the beginning, so that sort of warms your legs up. If you're on, if you've got a virtual turbo trainer, we are running RGT taster sessions, so you can have a go on the hill as a training session.
That worked really well, didn't it?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. So we are going to do a more detailed podcast on sort of some training ideas and sort of what kind of power outputs. But to sort of give a bit of context, so when I did my virtual Everest, you really need to aim to do it in zone 2. So I'm 80 kilograms. I was pushing out about 215 watts average, and I just very, very carefully tapped that out without overpowering of the day. Yeah, it was tiring, but I wasn't demolished at the end of it. So we're really careful picking a hill that makes this achievable with the right amount of effort, right amount of rest as well. So I'm probably thinking of myself doing maybe 6 reps, then taking a short break to fuel up, which is really, really important, and then crack on. Because if you stop for too long, your legs seize up. It's like restarting the ride, and it's horrendous. So we thought about this pretty carefully in terms of timing and what's achievable for everyone as well.
I'm finding the game plan intriguing already. We'll have a whole podcast on it, but I think that the number of reps per hour, the amount of rest you put in, do you rest once every 4? Do you rest every time? Do you go hard and build in more rest? All of that kind of thing. Do I try and lose some weight? Do I sacrifice power? I think a lot of people are really, if you just pitch up on the day and go for it, you're probably going to find it hard. I think a lot of people are going to delve into an interesting part of the sport that maybe they haven't done before, but we've got some formulas and things to help you work it out. But as you say, if you're at 225 watts, I reckon it's going to be about 2.5 watts a kilo. It's not, it's not a walk in the park by any means. So if you are thinking of entering, I think some realism is helpful.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to train.
Chris is the only one who's ever done an Everest before, but I'm sure that's not the case.
I mean, as we said, this is 56 miles uphill, so it's not to be taken lightly. It's a serious event, and if you rock up and not done the training or planning it, you're going to put yourself in trouble. So you've got to train for it.
Think of our sponsorships, everyone comes back and says there wasn't a flat mile, and of course there was, but this is actually an event where there is not a flat mile.
There's a bit of flat at the top, I think. Actually, we can turn around.
The turnaround, when you turn around, Oh, we're going to build a few people have asked about the infrastructure and logistics and stuff. So we're going to build proper start, a bit of a gantry at the bottom, a few barriers to make it obvious where to turn. Don't want people skidding and getting around the bend and things like that. And then at the top, we'll have barriers, a gantry. You'll be timed each lap so that we maintain the accuracy. You'll all have numbers on. We're thinking on the start, because 100 people all trying to go at the same time isn't clearly going to work. So we're going to stagger it out a little bit over 4 minutes, maybe something like that, but still make sure everybody has the same 17 hours at it. It'll either be at the top where there's a farm or halfway up where there's a side road, place to park, and it's dead handy to, it might not be dry all day, so you might want to go change clothing, or it'd be cold in the morning, warm in the afternoon, cold again at night. Chamois, you might, change the shorts regardless of all of that. Your own fuel, but we'll have the coffee van there, gels, bars, proper food, some soup, or we haven't got the menu sorted yet, but we'll have proper food available as well as the nutrition stuff, because I think that just something nice in your mouth through the day makes a massive difference.
Fueling and comfort, they are massive factors in this. But
they are. Yeah, it's a long time on the bike, isn't it? If you do use all the 17 hours, that is a feat in itself, to be on a bicycle for 17 hours.
Imagine saying to your partner, your wife, I'm just nipping out for a 17-hour bike ride. They go,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, talking time.
Where are you going? To the top of Everest.
What's up?
Be good.
Yeah, be great. So anyway, we frittered away for about 15 minutes now, probably enough. So thanks for watching, and we're going to do another podcast, lots more information. We can put up topics you want to talk about. We're certainly going to talk about training. So we've got an existing Everest holder, record holder, who's going to give us some tips. He may join us. We can persuade him, but we'll be certainly feeding some really good material from him, which you will find super helpful. So yeah, thanks for coming along. It's been great.
Cheers, everybody. And join the Facebook page and drop us an email, any questions as well. But try and build that community on Facebook. I think that's what it's all about. So thanks, everyone. Be back soon.